Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thitoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
Attack and dominate on a Friday. For the first time, Bob, in a while, it's a Friday for all three of us. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Bodie, good morning.
Morning, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Friday.
Friday. Big show lineup for you today. Lots to get into. No AJ today. Bob, I should have done this before the show. I'm going to put you on the spot now, though. Instead of doing Ask AJ, should we do Ask Bobby?
Sure, why not?
So last segment, we will do Ask Bobby. Hop in the chat. Tell us what you want Bobby to answer on this Friday. But 2 full hours here on YouTube, the fan app. You can also, HD3 also, you can download the show anytime. Catch us 10 to noon on 10 TV Plus. Also, Facebook, Twitter, Bodie.
Yes, sir.
It's a wonderful day. Morning Juice, sponsored by Riverside Bank in Dublin. Lots to get into today. We got the Final Four this weekend in men's college basketball and women's college basketball. The Cavs beat Golden State last night, 118-111. Bob,
Playoffs.
I will take personal responsibility for the Jackets' recent slide. 5 in a row? I think 6 out of the last 7 they've lost. They lose 5-1 yesterday to Carolina. And now, as we sit here, I think they've got 6 games left. They are on the outside looking in, Bob. Not ideal.
Definitely not ideal. It has not been a good last couple of weeks for the Jackets. And you got to find a way to finish strong now. I mean, that's basically what it's coming down to.
They've got Winnipeg tomorrow, Bob. Is it – I know that – I say I know this. Let me make sure because I don't know, Bob. Maybe you can tell me. Coaching changes. How many times, I know not in your college career, in your professional career.
I've never been involved in a midseason coaching change.
That's what I was asking. Okay, because I know obviously you didn't in high school. Your dad's one of the GOATs as far as high school coaching goes. Long time tenure there at Lancaster. But so you never had one at the professional level.
No, not midseason.
Okay, so as you're watching this now, though, as you're looking at what's happened with the Jackets now, and they had such a resurgence, obviously, when Bonus first came on board. It's not possible his message has gotten stale already, right?
Teams just go through highs and lows.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the messaging. Just because you're losing doesn't mean that you're not listening to your coach. Sometimes it means you're not playing well. Maybe you're not getting the results. Maybe you're injured, which is the case with the Jackets a little bit. Maybe you're playing better teams. Maybe you are playing well and you're just not getting the results. There's a lot of things that could be the case.
But like with Tortorella, I know Tortorella is famous for, and coming in and people buy into him.
Sure.
But then his message does kind of, it seems like at least that it ends up not being as effective a year or two into a tenure.
I don't know if it's a year or two. I think it's more like 3 or 4 years into it. And it's definitely not half a season.
Right. That's what I was asking. So it's got to be something other than that then.
Sometimes you're just not playing well because you're not playing well. There's no other reason other than that. And like you're trying, you're just not getting the results that you want. And sometimes you're doing things the right way. Sometimes like what's happening now, I mentioned you're injured and that's part of it. It's not an excuse. It's an explanation.
Women's Final Four gets underway tonight. South Carolina, UConn, Texas against UCLA. Those are all 1 seeds involved in that. Reds and Rangers play today at 4:10. Guards host the Cubs at 4:10. We talk about Major League Baseball there. Baseball, Bob, but that's what's going on. Bob, now how about you?
Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Enlighten me.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
Poof, David Copperfield, Bobby. Make it happen.
All right, let's make it happen, Captain. Why is this not pulling up the new show? It is Friday, April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year, 272 days remaining in this 2026. This date, 1860, the first successful run of the Pony Express occurs from St. Joseph, Missouri, all the way to Sacramento, California. 1865, Union forces capture Richmond, Virginia, which is the capital of the Confederacy as the war is rapidly coming to an end. 1948, Harry Truman signs the Marshall Plan, granting $5 billion in aid to 16 European countries immediately following World War II. In 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. delivers "I've Been to the Mountaintop" speech a day before his assassination.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
We as a people will get to the promised land. There we go. MLK.
We could use an MLK.
Definitely a great orator and fine leader. Not sure where you find those guys. This date, 1988. Maybe this could have been the guy. Billy Ocean, "Get Out of My Dreams and Into My Car" hits number one.
Third favorite song by Billy Ocean.
Caribbean Queen, and what's your next?
The one from the movie Romancing the Stone. That's the name of the song, actually. Romancing the Stone. By him from the soundtrack. Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner in that movie. Romancing the Stone, though, I think is my second favorite.
I don't know if I've heard that one. Maybe I have. 1996. The suspected Unabomber, Theodore, better known as Ted Kaczynski, is arrested in his home in rural Montana.
April 3rd, 1996, the day the FBI arrested Theodore Kaczynski, the suspected Unabomber, at his cabin in rural Montana. Beginning in 1978, a mysterious series of bombings across the country had killed 3 people and wounded 23 others.
The bomb on the Yale campus today blew up in the computer sciences building.
The targets were mostly either universities or airlines,
Small bomb exploded in a mail pouch in the cargo hold.
which explains the origin of his nickname, the Unabomber.
Does he have Ohio ties? Am I
Ted
wrong on that?
Kaczynski?
Yeah. Am I
I
wrong
think
on that?
Ted actually taught at Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I keep thinking he had, but maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know.
No, I think you're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Tomato, tomato.
Ted Kaczynski. I'm pretty sure. Let me pull this up. Unabomber. Education. University of Michigan, PhD. There you go.
Vacate
Yeah.
wins. Let's do it.
Vacate wins.
I'm just saying. He went to Michigan. Let's just vacate wins for them, too.
I think I think he worked there too.
There we go.
Yeah, master's degree and doctoral degree.
See, there we
Michigan man
go. Yes.
to his core.
To his core. Him and Connor. It's a couple of Michigan men.
Doing things the right way. God intended.
Doing things some way.
Well, I mean, Unabomber. Dennis Miller had a great little, there used to be a show called Dennis Miller Live on HBO.
Loved
It was really good. He had a sweet mullet. He'd stand there and just do monologues. It was like SNL for him. Yeah, a little, like when they got arrested, he's like, listen to a little story about my man named Ted, poor mountaineer that was messed up in the head, mailed a couple bombs, and he made some people die, and up through the woods came the FBI.
Sounds like you remember that one
Clever.
vividly, Bob. He had a great interview with Norm.
There was some profanity in there that I cut out.
The Norm Macdonald interview he had about people
About
being
O.J.
proud.
Simpson.
No, about being proud of their son is a great one. I'll have to tell you off the air because I do enjoy being employed, but it's a great interview he did with Norm Macdonald about that.
I mean, listen, if you do it with the same comedic timing here, I think that it might work.
Oh, I don't think this would work here, Bob. Feels like it's
Well,
a Mike.
Michael Scott.
Feels like it's a Mike
Same
Soft
comedic
moment.
timing.
I'm telling you.
This date, 2000, Microsoft, in the case the United States versus Microsoft. It is ruled that Microsoft violated their antitrust, and the line was their oppressive thumb was all over their competitors. And then in 2010, Apple releases the iPad.
Just a few years ago, in 2007, Apple reinvented the phone with the iPhone. And so all of us use laptops and smartphones now. Everybody uses a laptop and or a smartphone. And the question has arisen lately, is there room for a third category of device in the middle? Something that's between a laptop and a smartphone. We think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad.
We call it the iPad. Somewhere in between. Not quite a phone, not quite a computer. Changing the world. It's a little bigger than that, a little smaller than this. Some birthdays today. We're on this date, 1922, the famed Miss Doris Day.
Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see.
She had some Ohio ties. I think she died in Ohio, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, she was very popular and then kind of went into, I don't say hiding's the wrong word, but escaped the Hollywood spotlight, I believe, and then ended up passing in her 90s in the state of Ohio somewhere. You got it there, buddy?
Wikipedia says she was born in Cincinnati, but she passed at 97 out in California.
Okay. But yeah, she had Ohio ties. So yeah, I remember that she was immensely popular way back when. Calamity Jane is a great movie she was in.
So the Doris Day show, for heaven's sake. Anytime you have a show with your name on it on network television, good for her.
Bobby Carpenter show with Tito.
Marlon Brando, born 2 years later in 1924.
Godfather, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you? Is this how you turn down a Hollywood Pinocchio that cries like a woman? What can I do? What can I do? What is that nonsense? Ridiculous. You spend time with your family?
Sure I do.
Good. Because a man that doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man. You look terrible. I want you to eat. I want you to rest well, and a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
It's too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Outside of The Godfather, Bob, and Superman with Christopher Reeve, have you ever seen a Marlon Brando movie?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I don't think. I've never seen The Godfather. I've seen Superman. But I don't know. Like there was.
You've never seen any of the Godfathers?
Not yet. Don't spoil it for me.
It's pretty remarkable.
Don't tell me what happens at the end. But have you seen all three Godfather movies?
I've watched them all. I've probably seen them. They had, I think, on the 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary, whatever it was, maybe 30th. I don't know.
I think 72 was the first one.
Well, they had 72.
I thought it was. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it was 75. Somewhere in there.
I think it's 75.
Okay.
No, 72. You're right, because the second one came out in, I don't know, 74.
72, 74.
Like 90.
And you said there was a third one?
Yeah, there's a third one. Like came out like late 80s, early 90s, I thought.
Maybe it was the 50-year anniversary.
1990.
90, okay.
Maybe it was the 50-year anniversary of it. They had, I think it was called like The Godfather Story, or I forget what it was called. But they took the three movies and they broke them down and put them in chronological order.
Okay.
Of how it worked. And it was a full like 9-hour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I remember watching that. It was on HBO a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember watching like intermittent parts of that. Was it the second I had never seen? And I just was watching it to kind of piece it all together.
Yeah.
And so I believe that I've seen them all in the entirety because of that, but that was always interesting part. He was also in Apocalypse Now, which I've seen.
And he was in On the Waterfront or something.
On the Waterfront, he's in The Score.
Yeah. He's in Guys and Dolls 2.
Sure,
not Guys and Dolls 2, like as well, is what I mean.
Number 2?
I think he might have been in that one.
Born on this date, 1934. Lost him back in 2005. One of the great Buckeyes of all time. All-American Hall of Famer, Outland Trophy winner, Mr. Jim Parker.
Coach came up to me and told me that I like steak. I thought he was crazy. I said, hell yeah, I like steak. He said, see that man over there? That's Johnny Unitas. And if you protect him, we all eat. If you don't, nobody eats.
Over his 11-year career, Jim Parker made a habit of gobbling up Hall of Fame defensive ends. The cult hero who launched Lenny Moore's runs and saved John Unitas' skin became the first full-time offensive lineman elected to the Hall of Fame.
I did not know that fact. He was the first one full-time offensive lineman to be in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't know that either. I knew he was a great player, though. Yeah. This man's got some great hair. Turning 84 today, Mr. Wayne Newton.
Darker shame, darling, darker shame. Thank you for walks down Lover's Lane.
I saw him in Vegas with first administration. So said to be like 07 maybe. God, it's a long time ago. His voice was shot back then. I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but his voice was bad.
Oh yeah, it
was fun.
Yeah.
We were like second row. I didn't throw my underwear on stage. I'm just saying that he was.
Why not?
Entertaining. I know, but I wasn't wearing it there. Or commando. But nonetheless, so Bob, it was an entertaining show. Although the voice was gone.
I'll be honest. When I played that yesterday, sometimes I'll like start playing it and I'll go over to another tab to maybe keep working through Today in History, and I'm like, is this a woman? Did I click on the wrong thing?
He had a really high voice
yeah.
early on. He didn't at the end.
He's still alive.
Well, at the end of his
prime
career. I mean, doesn't sound like that anymore. Turning 68 today. Also, maybe not in his prime anymore. Mr. Alec Baldwin.
I doubt you'd remember, but we met once at the consulate in Leningrad, along with your wife. I'm very sorry.
What gives you the right to fire on my ship? Your signal said nothing of a torpedo.
Oh, this is
it was necessary to maintain the illusion for your crew.
My crew are being rescued, yes?
As we speak.
You sent the signal.
That's correct, sir.
Then how did you know our reactor accident was false?
Well, that was a guess, but it seemed logical.
Was he in one of the Mission Impossible movies also? Like,
I don't know.
Cruise?
I think you're right on that. Yeah, I think he was one of the Tom's. Tom, like I know him.
Right, Tommy.
Excuse me. Tom Cruise is like kind of boss there for maybe a couple of them.
The end
yeah.
Of them, yeah. Not in the beginning. Like
I think it was the middle. Maybe I'd say I don't remember him in the last couple, but it was a pretty small role. I think if he was in there,
he was great in Glengarry Glen Ross. Have you guys both seen that? Either of you?
Never even heard of it.
He's great in The Edge.
Have you seen him? Have you seen Glengarry Glen Ross?
I've never even heard of that.
Oh man, you guys got to get up on your pop culture. It's a great. It's a good movie. It's about a.
When do you think that came out?
I think Glengarry Glen Ross. I'm going to guess it would have been in the mid 90s.
1992.
92. Okay, great movie, Bob. It's about sales and real estate. He's in it.
Pacino
is in it as well. So is Jack Lemmon. So is
Ed Harris, Kevin Spacey.
Ed Harris, Spacey's the other one who's also the boss. Yes, it's a fantastic movie.
95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, you guys all. Look, I can't like your Highness. I can lead you guys to water, but I can't make you drink. But I'm telling you, you would like that one if you want to be up on pop culture.
I don't know if nearly 35-year-old movies.
What Godfather's 50 years old. You're shocked I never saw it. I'm telling you, Glengarry Glen Ross.
That's like one of the most
classic quoted movies.
So
isn't that like top 5 on IMDb's?
Yes, I don't know if Glengarry Glen Ross is.
It's a great movie, Bob.
I'm not saying
I've given you 2 now. That and All the President's Men. You guys both have to watch it maybe this weekend.
Godfather 1 and 2 are in the top 4.
Yeah.
Is Rocky in the top 5?
Rocky's not.
Okay.
Shawshank, Godfather, The Dark Knight,
then
Godfather Part 2.
How many of those 5 have you seen?
Okay. I've seen The Dark Knight. What was the other ones?
Shawshank.
Yep, 2.
And then the 2 Godfathers.
That's 4.
And then 12 Angry Men was 5th.
I've seen 12 Angry Men also in a play. I saw it. And
Hold on,
George Wendt.
You telling me that counts as the movie, or are you saying
I've seen the movie and I've seen the play.
All right, I didn't
with
know.
George Wendt. That's 3 of the 5.
Okay. All right, that's
pretty good.
It's more than I would have thought.
Yeah, 3 of the 5.
Not bad. That might be your best accomplishment today.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Bob.
Man of many accomplishments, one of the funniest men around. He's raw as they can be, turning 65 today, Mr. Eddie Murphy.
You must be out of your goddamn mind. Joe Louis, the greatest boxer ever lived. I'll be with you boys in a minute. He was bad in Cassidy Clay. He bad in Sugar Ray. He bad in that. Who that? The new boy got Mike Tyson. Look like a bulldog. He bad in him too. He done whipped Mike Tyson there. He whipped all their asses.
What about Rocky Marciano?
Oh, there they go. There they go. Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. That's the one. That's the one. Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano. Let me tell you something wonderful. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't shit.
He beat Joe Louis's ass.
That's right. He did whoop Joe Louis' ass. Joe Louis had come out of retirement to fight Rocky Marciano. The man was 76 years old. Joe Louis always lied about his age. He lied about his age all the time. One time, Frank Sinatra comes out here and sat down in this chair. And I said, Frank, you hang out with Joe Louis. Just between me and you, how old is Joe Louis? You know what Frank told me? He said, hey, Joe Louis is 137 years old. 137 years old.
Oh, man, you ain't never meet no Frank Sinatra.
Fuck you. Fuck you and fuck you.
Who's next?
Who's next?
That's great.
It's really good. I mean, the fact that he's playing all those guys.
And Arsenio, too.
Yeah, and him and Arsenio just doing it all.
Yes.
And the hall getting busy like Arsenio. Sebastian Bach, the lead singer of Skid Row, turning at 58 today. Really enjoy that song. The lyrics kind of feel like they hit home.
Look, I was around 18 when it came out. It didn't hit then. It's now, Bob. Telling you right now, 54, damn near 55-year-old Tito.
There you go.
That right there strikes a chord.
Former Giants running back Rodney Hampton turning 57 today. And Leona Lewis turning 41.
That's a banger.
It was a good one. And 1 year away from 40, the three-time All-Star Reds third baseman, Mr. Jay Bruce, turning 39.
To a 174 average. Jay Bruce digging in to start tonight. High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the wall. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions.
Outfielder for the Reds.
Outfielder, not third base, yes.
Chris Sabo was probably the third baseman you would most associate with the Reds, right? Was Sabo was before your trial? Yeah,
I remember them winning in 90. I'm trying to think. That was when I was real young. I'm trying to think if they've had any other. Sean Casey played first.
They had Scott Rowland came over. Rowland came over from the Phillies.
Yeah, but he was more associated with the Phillies
or
the Cards than I associated with the Reds. And then also passing away in this date, 1882, the famed outlaw Jesse James. Some holidays and observances today. What all do we got for you here? It is Good Friday. It is Find a Rainbow Day. Chocolate Mousse Day. How about that?
Lights going.
National Film Score Day. Hot Cross Buns Day. Which sounds pretty good. Aquatic Animal Day. Those are for your ferrets that you're talking so much about.
Not aquatic animals.
They could be.
They could
ferrets?
be. I don't think ferrets would be considered aquatic animal. They're
in the Big Lebowski. He refers to it as an amphibious rodent. So
I got to see that at some point.
That's probably top 50 IMDb.
Bodie's checking. Here we go.
And it's World Party Day. And those historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date, Friday, April 3rd, a Good Friday, the 93rd day of the year, and 272 days remaining in this 2026.
Well done as always, General Bodie. You got something for me there?
Number 228.
It's 228. Big Lebowski. That's Goodman. Is that who's the other guy that was in that one? That's like the John Turturro. Is he in that one?
He's in it briefly.
Okay, I didn't know.
Jeff Bridges.
Bridges and John Goodman.
Those are the big ones.
Steve Buscemi's in it. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it. Tara Reid also in it.
Naked?
Swimsuit.
Okay.
Named Bunny Lebowski.
Mm-hmm.
Fun name.
Take Simone Lebowski.
I
Show your wife Bunny.
I can't wait for Ask Bob. I have a parenting question for you, Bob, that I'm going to save.
I sent you all you needed to know yesterday.
No, listen. You said, okay, I didn't look at it.
That's part of the problem.
No, wait. No, I haven't had time to look at it yet, Bob. I haven't had time.
Get out of here.
I haven't had time, Bob. I'm a busy guy.
Get out of here. The amount of time you waste on a daily basis is probably pretty high.
Your dad caught 7 passes in a game one time.
Sounds good.
Coming up next, looks like we have a reunion. We will talk about that Morning Juice.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
I slept in a lot of different rooms, different beds, but none of them really felt like mine. I spent 14 years in foster care, mostly in group homes. And I never had much stuff because I always had to be ready to move. Why get things if you just have to let them go?
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a forever family and a permanent home of their own.
Now I have my own room with walls that tell my story. I love hanging out in here. I play dress up with my sisters and I sing and make videos. But the best part, knowing I'll always have a place to go and a family that loves and supports me.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
One man is a national champion, NFL veteran, and local business leader. The other man is Tito. This is Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
Mike's off, Bodie.
It's
God, I hope so. You and I both could be in trouble for that one.
Yeah. Listen, I was just relaying a story. I wasn't.
So was I. The Norm MacDonald story. Bob, I'm trying to think of your age.
42.
No, I know. I'm doing the math, though, quickly.
It's born in 83.
Okay, so you would have been
about 10 or 11, right?
Very young when the Fab Five was a thing.
Yeah, I remember watching the game.
All right.
Well, I remember watching the highlights of it. My dad wouldn't let me stay up late. Not clips. They were highlights. That's what they had them. It wasn't on social media. It was on the news the next day.
I remember going to my MySpace page. Anyway, though, Bob, so I, as a Buckeye fan, did not cheer for the Fab Five in their moments. They went to the NCAA championship 2 years in a row. As freshmen, they did it against and lost to Duke. and then lost to North Carolina the following year when Chris Webber called the timeout they did not have. But their impact on basketball cannot be denied. As I got older, I appreciated more what they were able to accomplish as 5 freshmen starting. Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, Ray Jackson, Jimmy King. And then the 30 for 30 came out about them as well, which is also great. Steve Fisher, the head coach. Brian Dutcher, who is still the head coach of San Diego State, went with Fisher to SDSU and then took over for him after Fisher retired. Nonetheless, Bob, it's been that Fab Five documentary was produced by Jalen Rose, executive producer on that. And Chris Webber famously did not appear in that.
I talked to Jalen about that when we worked at ESPN.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. I want to hear about this.
I asked him a lot of questions about it. Just because I told him, I was really young, man.
Yeah.
So I'm young enough to remember how big of it, old enough to remember how big of a deal it was, but not, number one, there wasn't the access around athletics that there is now. Like, there was no social media or anything like that. Like I said, we didn't have cable, so there was no ESPN for me growing up. But just the other four's relationship with Chris. I think it's better now. I don't know that it was great then. And Jalen goes, not on my behalf. He's like, I have no ill will toward him. It had nothing to do with, obviously, that. He was just, after that, he kind of went on his own path.
So Big Ed, I can't remember what his last name was, but Big Ed, though, was like the...
Big Earn?
No, it was Big Ed. Bob, Ed, and...
McCracken?
Ed was the guy who... Ed Martin was the one...
Martin. Different Martin?
I think so.
I think so. I think it was Martin Lawrence. It was Ed Martin.
Ed Martin Lawrence, before and after.
Ed Martin Lawrence. Yes, that's what it was. It was before and after. Take Jeopardy.
Guy's got 2 first names.
Take that. Take a before and after for 600, Alex. But Bob, it was Ed Martin was the one who did a lot of the financing, I guess I would say, of that Michigan basketball team. And his name got dragged through the mud by Webber. And Webber, I believe it's official. I believe it's in like the legal. I think it's legally. He has said that Ed Martin gave him money. And I think Chris Webber's comment was he preyed upon the needs of younger kids. But
sounds a little bit like,
anyway, that bothered Jalen Rose quite a bit. That was a big part of their rift.
Preyed upon the needs.
Bob, I know.
What were they doing for the money?
I know, Bob. As soon as I said it, I knew
just
you'd have
playing
that.
basketball,
yes,
or was there
exactly
something more involved?
So what Big Ed Reed, that Ed Martin. That
so
was part
we
of the problem.
saying that they were victims because they took the money. Is that what we're trying to portray them as?
That is what Webber said. I think under oath, and that bothered Jalen Rose. And
you're a grown man. You know what you're doing.
Well, I don't think he was a grown man at that point. I think he was 16, 17, 18, 19.
Well, he's not 16 in college.
No, I know. I'm saying, but he started in high school, though. I think that that's when the relationship developed. No,
I think Bob, the term you're looking for is groomed.
No, I'm not saying groomed, Bob. I'm saying that's when their interactions began. Let's put it that way.
Encounters.
So that was a big part of what Jalen Rose and the rift between him and Webber, and also the rest of the guys in Webber, I think, as well. I think that's been fairly well documented.
Why was he testifying under oath?
It was about payments that he received, and there was where Ed wanted money back, and so
for not winning.
No, he wanted money. There was a thing. Ed Martin's son actually came out and said, "Look, all my dad said was, I'll take care of you now, but if you get to the NBA and make money, I would just," I think it was his words, "I would just like to be reciprocated." And so he didn't reciprocate. And Webber comes out and says, "You know what? I was."
So would they sue him or what?
I think they might have sued. There was some kind of legal thing involved, because it also involved Michigan. This is why they took the banners down. There was some kind of thing with Michigan players receiving illegal. I was going to say illicit, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to see what that will respond to. But illegal payments. Like to the point of where, and I think there was a tax thing, Bob.
Yeah.
Because Webber, I think.
The U.S. government's involved, and this is a criminal proceeding. It's the taxes.
So it was something like $280,000 or some huge amount of money. Now, Mitch Albom, who is a
writer for the Detroit Free Press.
Right. Well established. Yeah. He said that, and he followed the Fab Five pretty closely. Yes, he's still alive. Yes. His ears are messed up, but yeah, he's still alive.
He's got great hair. A lot of volume.
Take a look at his ears. I don't know what he's got. Oh, it's a disease, but I'm just saying, I'm not picking a disease.
They sit a little wider. Maybe that's why he likes the volume on his hair.
He probably was
like
listening to
helmet over the
headphones when I
top.
got here. Anyway, but Bob, Album said that I was very close, quoting him now, paraphrasing, I guess. He said he was very close to the Fab Five, and he said if Chris Webber got $280,000, he must have had it buried in the backyard somewhere because those guys did not live a lavish lifestyle. He said he remembers Weber asking him for money to buy a pizza and things like that. He's like, if this guy get $280,000, he's not asking me for money.
Well, maybe that's the greatest ruse.
Could be. And he also talked about how he remembers walking in a mall and you see these number 4 jerseys for Michigan, and Weber's like, I got none of that. Why is Michigan making money? I'm not. The Black Sox thing, which I wore Black Sox, Bob, too. I did it because of them. Fab 6. But they are getting back to my original point. They are reuniting, Bob, for the Final Four.
I knew that they'd mended fences, I think, in the last handful of years. Time often does that, hopefully.
HBO Max and True TV will have an alternate feed of the NCAA tournament this weekend, featuring all 5 of them together. Weber, Jalen, Ray Jackson, Jimmy King, Juwan Howard. Does that, it's not Manning cast, it's Fab Five cast. Is that something you would watch over traditional broadcast?
Who's on the broadcast?
Well, it's going to be, CBS with...
It'll be Eagle, Raftery, and
the pretentious Iron Eagle, yeah.
Not bad.
I think I've watched Fab Five. I think I'd like to
I
see
might watch that. Are they going to have Juwan Howard be a guest coach?
Oh, I don't know if you're going to spit on anybody or hit anybody. I didn't spit on anybody. I shouldn't say it.
Maybe
Is he
punch,
gonna hit anybody?
or swing.
Yes, took a swing at somebody. But they're going to do that, though, and I think that's kind of cool they're doing it. I'm glad they're, as I said, Bob, as a kid, I was 21 in 92 when they made their run. But, yes, me and my buddies playing rec league basketball, I didn't go bald head, but we did mimic the Fab Five in the fact of our black socks and long shorts. Did you do blackface? I didn't do blackface, not until 94, but that's a whole other story, Bob, I don't want to get into right now on the air. But 92, 93, around that time, the Fab Five, yes, we did do the black socks and long shorts. That's what we did. I also Reebok pumps, which is another big deal. Because you've got a vertical like mine, you've got to have the pumps for the ankle support. That's what I did. Anyway, as I've gotten further away from it, Bob, I appreciate what the Fab Five,
they were
their
good.
impact.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of, them versus Duke was kind of like Catholics versus convicts in basketball.
Oh, good call, yeah.
And they've brought this up, and I remember talking to Jalen about that, and he goes, they played it up. I mean, Jalen's a smart guy. It's not like and Weber's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Weber went to a private school, I want to say.
He did. Weber went private, and Rose went public, famously, because Rose is like, you grow, you tell somebody, I'm playing for this school. I'm playing for Fitty. He said, I'll get punched. The guy's betting on the games. You'll see somebody get pushed into a wall. But yeah, they were, that was it famously. Weber went to private.
And so, but they tried to portray it as the good guys from Duke. These kids are all polished, do things the right way, play the right type of basketball. He's like, you got a bunch of white guys down there, and then Grant Hill. He's like, we'll lump him in with those guys. Grant's dad, Calvin, played for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
running back. I don't know if you knew that.
I knew his dad played pro sports. Now that you say that, it clicked. But.
And I want to say both his parents went to Yale.
His mom was a roommate with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
in college.
Wasn't that the kind of, I'll call it semi-famous clip from the Fab Five, 30 for 30, that it's like all the Michigan guys are calling them like pretty boys.
Yeah. Other words. Starts with a P and a B also, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get all Michael Scott, but they talked about a P and a B we'll talk about later.
Oh, yeah. And so there was there was a lot of that, but it was kind of like the Catholics versus convicts, of just the portrayal of how they went about it versus how Michigan went about it, black socks, baggy pants, all that stuff. So embracing the early 90s hip-hop culture and everything else.
God, it was great. It was terrible as an Ohio State fan because they beat Ohio State when
they
Chris Jett missed that shot.
They had Jett and Jackson. They beat them to get to the Final Four. It was them versus Ohio State in the Elite Eight, and it was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it was in Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big time game, obviously, and Jim, they took him right to the brink.
It was an overtime game, I believe. Jamal Brown, RIP, was in that game. I remember it, Bob, for the fact, obviously, the game itself, but those Indiana-Ohio State battles back then with Calbert Chaney and Damon Bailey, and those Indiana-Ohio State and Michigan were all so damn. And also, by the way, I found out later on, a buddy of mine got a DUI coming back from Lexington. From that game,
Tiger Woods.
I'm not saying Tiger Woods because this guy's not that good of a golfer. He's an '80s golfer. He's not a Tiger Wood-esque golfing, but
in the
golfer.
the decade of the '80s, or or shooting rounds in the '80s.
Exactly. Great point on that one, Bob. But yeah. But if you look back, though, watch the 30 for 30. I love that one. It's one of my favorite ones among all of them. It's fun to see the impact those guys had, and you're right, Bob. The hip hop culture. And that was such a fun time. And the way that they would protest, like when Jalen Rose says they came out wearing just plain T-shirts over their jersey. No Nike, no nothing, just to protest the fact that their jersey is being sold. They're making no money. But they're getting back together for the national championship broadcast. That'll be fun. I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad they've all at least somewhat reconciled. I will look forward to that. Coming up next, Quick Hitters Morning Juice.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned, so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Miss Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
Bobby's knees hurt from doing battle with some of football's toughest warriors. Tito's knees hurt from begging Bobby to let him host this show.
Oh, pick me! Oh, I know, me!
This is Morning Juice.
Do you need a bank that truly values local business in this town, the opportunity to work alongside them as partners? Whether you're a small business or a large operation, Riverside Bank of Dublin has the right tools for the job. Riverside Bank of Dublin has the experience of working right here in Central Ohio. They understand the business climate in our area, and with that, they'll help you reach your goals. So whether you need an SBA loan to get your business off the ground, a line of credit to keep your business running smoothly, or equipment financing to get your business up to scale, Riverside Bank will tailor a solution that fits your needs. Visit them at riverside.bank or stop in to get to know them at 6300 France Road. Riverside Bank, a Dublin member, FDIC, equal housing lender.
Bob, we had a spirited discussion there at the very end of the break. Spirited, right word?
Yeah, I mean, you just said getting off for Good Friday is weak, and I'm like,
what about staying home to watch Pinocchio?
Naked. Okay.
See,
Bodie,
when you said,
I don't like what Bodie's doing here.
Jeff goes, our kids get too many days off of school.
They do.
Okay, too many is relative to what?
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, our kids are in school more hours in a year than you and I were.
Okay, and Bob, I don't have the factual.
I'm telling you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm just saying that maybe for me it's like my dad, like 6 inches of snow both ways uphill, never got days off. Maybe that's the way I'm looking at it. But that is surprising to me to believe that we went to school less than the kids do now.
I'm just telling you. That's a factual statement.
Bodie? I don't know why I'm asking.
If you just accept that as a fact, then what is just because they get more days off intermittently throughout the year, or at least
professional days.
You keep saying professional days.
Yeah, but grading days. I don't remember ever getting off for a getting off of school for a grading day.
Do you think you knew why you were getting the day off? Do you think it actually mattered to you?
It was Labor Day.
Bodie, do you think you cared why?
It was Thanksgiving.
All you knew was like, hey, we don't have school. We just don't have school.
Sweet.
We would get 2 days off for the fair.
Oh, that's right. You guys didn't you?
We used to get off, not every year, but some years I remember we got off for the first day of deer hunting season.
Yeah.
Did I ever hunt a day in my life? Hell no. But I didn't. I'm like, sweet.
That's what I knew. Like, there are schools where people get off the whole week for the fair, or they get off
Van Wert, they do. I remember that. Van Wert. They would always. Van Wert County Fair was a big deal.
Because a lot of kids are involved in that, and just get off the first day of hunting season. I mean,
that's America right there.
Bob,
I've been deer hunting once. Shot it in the leg. Had to kill it with a shovel. Took an hour. Why do you ask?
Okay. By the way, that's the thing too.
That's Michael Scott.
Yeah.
When he's trying to fire Creed, he's supposed to fire somebody, and he just like
that's early on. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the other thing too. I get into this argument with deer hunters, Bob.
Yeah.
It's like they always get so excited. I got this buck that was whatever, 12-point buck, 18-point buck. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever the number is. I'm like, well, they're bigger. Aren't they easier to hit if they're bigger? Like, show me a baby one.
They're harder to find. Show me a baby one.
Like, if you want to impress me,
tell me
one you got that has zero.
I've actually been feeding it for weeks, and then I just came up and bludgeoned it with a rock.
Show me the 0.1 one. That's a harder one to get, Bob. Try shooting a mouse. Try shooting a horse. A mouse is hard to shoot.
Your favorite Carpenter, Cullen, brought up one time. He's like,
love him.
He's like, why don't we ever hunt the cows? And I'm like, because they just stand there. I don't know if that's actually hunting. When they come to you when you call them for food, that's not exactly hunting.
You're right.
That would just be an execution.
Not very agile.
Someone did. Yeah, they're not going to jump over the fence. They jump over a moon, but not a fence. But Bob, yes. And so somebody said, well, yeah, they're harder to find. That's what it is. But I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't brag about shooting a big one. I'd like, hey, look at this one. He was this big. And look, I shot him from 100 yards. I would think that'd be a bigger accomplishment. But still,
that's one way to look at it.
That, yeah.
You would think, yeah, it's, have you ever killed an animal, Bob?
Yeah, I've shot deer. I've killed squirrel. I've killed countless squirrels in my front yard. Rabbits too.
Listen, I know you used to have a smaller backyard. I remember you almost shot your grill. Right? You had something out there, Bob, and you're like, I almost hit it. There was like a propane tank or something.
That was
way back.
Yeah, but that was that was out in the.
I thought you had okay.
There was a giant propane tank, like one of the ones for a house, and that was that was not in Columbus.
That was in UA.
No, because no one has. I'm talking a propane tank for your home, not like it for a grill. You know what I'm talking about, Bodie. Have you ever seen those? I'm sure people. I mean, I'm talking.
I saw it. I might.
It's like the size
it's a big one. Yeah, it's a huge.
It's like the size of a car.
It looks like a submarine.
Yeah.
A submarine almost.
It's like a little submarine.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like they sit outside.
yeah.
I almost hit one of those.
Wow.
You're not having those. You're just getting natural gas here.
Right. Where are we going with this? I don't know, Bob, but I'm telling you, went to school more.
It's fine.
I'm going to do the math this weekend.
The best part about you, Jeff, is you ignore the facts. Like, don't let the facts get in the way of a good argument.
Hey, Bob, that's called show prep, which I don't do. Let's go.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
All right, fellas, happy Friday. We'll start here in the college football world. I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that eventually college football in the current state of the game, they're going to hit a crossroads at some point when it kind of comes to saving the sport from itself between the mega conferences, the mess of the calendar, name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal, and more. There seems to be a myriad of ideas as to what can help clean up this mess. Well, Ohio State head coach Ryan Day, he has one as bold as I think I have heard in quite some time. His idea: let's draft players out of high school. On the This Is Football show with Kevin Clark earlier this week, the Buckeye head man said it's not too far-fetched for me to think that there's a way that you could eventually actually have a draft and build it like the NFL. I know that seems a little bit out there right now, but we're going to need a lot of help to get there. I can tell you that much right now. Bobby, Thanos once said they called me a madman. Is Ryan Day being a madman here a little bit, or is he actually kind of onto something?
People hated that because, like, part of the thing with school is, like, you get to choose. It's like the one you're choosing that. And it used to be, like, you know, because of tradition or coaches or whatever. Maybe they're paying you money on the side.
Maybe.
As we just talked about with Michigan, like, all of those different things. And so the thought of drafting would be so foreign to people because that's where, like, as a college kid, you choose your school. And so you go there, and then you have that affiliation. So, like, the players choose it as well. So you have that connection.
Yeah.
With them, and so like drafting would seem almost sacrilegious. The way that it's going, like, is an NFL model. It sounds more like it sounds more realistic. Would teams lose maybe some of their competitive advantage? Possibly. Would it help get some of the NIL under control? Probably. I don't foresee it ever happening. But there's crazier things that have been said.
It can't happen. You can't have a draft because you're right, Bob. Like there's
why not?
Because it goes against everything. You get to choose your school.
That's not a reason.
Okay. Every school has different fields of study. Some have different fields of study that are more advanced than others. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to study...
Those are all postgraduate degrees that you need.
But I'm saying,
it doesn't matter where you go to undergrad for that.
Okay, but there are things that you can take, though, that would you say undergrad even, though? There are certain classes you can take that are advantageous.
Your examples were poor, though.
Bob, we're working through it, Bob. This is all, we're all spitballing here right now. It's all spitballing, not spitboarding. Yeah. Spitboarding's different. Anyway, though, what I'm saying is that different schools have different areas of expertise, different levels of why should I go to this school.
Yes.
Okay. So you can't draft somebody into that. Like, if I want to be... What's Ohio State's best one? Is it engineering? Is it finance?
They've got their business school is very good. Their engineering program is pretty good. Ohio State's one of the few that has just about every major you could get because the size of the school.
Okay, and if I want to do one of those things, let's say that I want to go to the Fisher College of Business because and I want to go to Ohio State because that's it. You can't tell me, nope, sorry. You know what? You got drafted by Rutgers.
Or
there we go. You got drafted by Rutgers. You've got to go there. No, it cannot happen in colleges. I understand the freshman part, and once they do that, though, Bob, then there is no more college sports. It's all just professional.
Yeah,
not that it's not
100%.
now, but it's like you can't tell a kid where he has to go to college.
Assuming that those things all still matter in 10 years. I think those are all the assumptions that we're making.
God, I want it to matter, Bob.
I'm not saying that it shouldn't. I'm just saying assuming that it does.
I don't want to get... Look, and I understand. I recognize the fact, Bob, that college football is, for the most part, major college football is minor league football for the NFL. They get 3 years to look at you. They get all this tape on you. And I understand. I recognize that. I accept that. But I can't go to that next level of... drafts.
I'm not saying it should. I'm just saying, like, that would be a step that could potentially happen. But, like, with you, the reasons that you did articulate are real. There is more to it than just playing the sport, though sometimes I think we forget that.
Bodie, that might have been the first time. You'd have to go back. I don't know if you have time this weekend or not. Go back and listen to all the shows we've done. And Bob just said articulate and me in the same sentence.
It's got to make you feel good on a Friday.
It really does.
Next up here, guys, this one isn't really a news story, but rather maybe a little bit of a fun trip down memory lane. I saw this over on The Athletic this week in his mailbag. Stuart Mandel was asked, what is the college football equivalent of Braylon Mullins' shot? Are there any games that come to mind? Of course, he's referring to that crazy Elite Eight ending in last Sunday's contest between UConn and Duke, in which the Huskies won it at the buzzer and got sent to the Final Four. Mandel's answer, I'll go ahead and play the clip right here because it's more fun to play than for me to explain
I know what
it.
you're gonna say.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
Or Sean McDonough. He's still with us. What were you thinking, Carp?
I was thinking possibly the kick six as well.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That was going to be my question to you guys.
Right.
College football ones, Ohio State or other that come to mind. The Michigan State one was good. The kick six certainly was good. Especially with both of those games in hindsight. The Iron Bowl was last game of the regular season, obviously. That game sent the winner was going to the SEC title game and then to the that would have been still the two-team national championship at that time. Auburn lost to Florida State. But then that Michigan State game played a huge factor when
that was the
Sparty
reason
came in here and beat the Buckeyes, and then they went to the Big Ten title game.
The reason why Ohio State was that wasn't Sparty the year Sparty went. That was in 2016. It was the year Penn State went.
No, I think you're flipping those two.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. 2015, I think, was when they beat Iowa on the L.J. Scott reach over. 2016, Penn State beat Wisconsin. I don't remember how that one sorted out, but I believe in 2015.
My parents are fighting.
I wanted to say that the reason why I'm almost positive that was 2016 because that was the year that Penn State went to the Big Ten championship over Ohio State, and the reason why is because Penn State beat Ohio State head-to-head, and if they would not have, and it was a two-way tie, if Michigan State wouldn't have beaten Michigan, it would have been a three-way tie, and Ohio State would have went over Michigan and Penn State because they were the highest-ranked team, I believe.
So 2015, Sparty beat Iowa in the Big Ten title game because they went to the playoff.
Yes.
2016.
Penn State won.
Penn State went, yeah.
That game was in 2016, I thought.
That game was in 2015 that I just mentioned. There.
Are you sure?
I am. Yeah, Michigan State went 3-9 in 2016. They
okay.
See if we can find a schedule here for the Sparties. In 2016, 3 wins. They beat Furman. They beat the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in South Bend, and then they smoked Rutgers. 2016, they almost beat the Buckeyes 17-16 in East Lansing. Ohio State was number 2, and I imagine still undefeated.
You know what
time.
It was? Is I think. If Michigan would have won that game, everybody laughed because Michigan lost. That prevented them from getting in because that would have created a three-way tie between Ohio State, Michigan State,
Even
Michigan.
if Michigan State still had beaten Ohio State at Columbus, which they
Ohio
did.
State would have still went because they would have been the highest-ranked team.
Yes.
That's what it was. It wasn't the Penn State year. It was that year. And everybody laughed at that, and they're like, look at Michigan. And I'm like, well, it did cost you a chance to potentially play for a national championship because you couldn't go to the Big Ten championship. You couldn't win that, and thus – they didn't put you into the CFP 14 playoff at that point.
The big thing out of that, Bob,
Ohio State still got in 2016, though.
The next year they did put him in.
Yeah.
And that didn't end up very well.
I know, it did not.
You pointed twice there, Bob. I know I did the point. You just pointed twice.
When I went like this?
Yeah, he did.
Like a finger. That's like a finger
I know,
flip.
but it's not the
It's not a straight hand
that's
point.
Not this.
Like,
That's different?
Yes.
There's different levels of point?
Yes.
All right. We'll talk about that during the break as well. Coming up next. We top of the hour, and we've got the 1 hour left here in the show. And look, a QB that keeps getting paid. We'll do that, Morning Juice.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm an innovation ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook: read labels, keep it allergy-friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
It's been a real journey since 2014 when I first had my injury. I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
All right, Bobby and Tito. Bodie as well. Spirited discussion in the chat, Bob. And I'm not saying people are questioning you, but just some of the elder statesmen, if you will, in the chat, talking about how kids did go to school more before. Like when, in my era, we went to school, we had more time spent in school than they do now.
I'm trying to figure out, is that the number of days is pretty stable, but the number of days the kid goes a bit less. When you take out as a matter of hours is slightly, but not. Yeah, okay. So as I said, as a matter of hours, it is more now. The school day is longer. Like, that is factually true. So the amount of days they may be in is less, but the amount of total hours is more.
And just to
go
clarify,
to school longer.
after Tito said that, Bill followed up and said in all caps, I did not say that.
No, but okay, but there's somebody else who did say they on Easter, for Easter week, they would be out Good Friday and then Monday.
But that doesn't matter. Like, you do realize that just because you get those days off, let's say they went to school for 10 months a year, but they get more days off during the year. Well, are they in school more or less? Well, tell me how many days they went off versus how many. It's how many minutes are you in that building, required to be there? That's how it works.
Okay, see, Bob, when I was in school, elementary school, we went. I remember we would start like on a Wednesday before Labor Day.
I don't even know what this has to do with anything.
Well, wait, and then we get Labor Day off. So I know, like, we started end of August, maybe beginning of September, had a short week, like a 3-day week, and then the next week was a 4-day week because we were off Labor Day.
Yeah.
And we were out early June.
Sure.
Kids now.
What date is early June, by the way?
Like June 6th, something like that.
Sure.
Okay. Now kids start mid-August. I know that. And they're out usually, at least where we're at, end of May.
Yeah. Right around Memorial Day weekend.
Right. But I don't remember having 2.5 weeks off for Christmas break. I don't remember having.
I thought it was 2.5 weeks. I think
it was back when I was banging. I think it was 2.5 weeks. It was like, they have 2.5 weeks now, right, Bob?
They
do
2 weeks.
Well, they get like the Friday usually before the weekend, and then the Monday or Tuesday
make
after.
Me look at this.
Yeah, look at it, Bob. I have no problem saying I'm wrong. You know that about me.
They got off the 22nd and then went back the 6th. They got off 2 weeks and a day.
They went back on the 6th. The 6th was professional day, and they came back the 7th. What was it?
5th was a professional day.
Okay.
Came back the 6th. So they were off for 2 weeks and a day. I would say that's a far cry from 2.5.
Well, it's not a far cry. It's 2 days off.
Okay.
Bodie, you want to give the final verdict on this?
I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever thought about this in my entire life.
Exactly. He's arguing over something. I'm just telling him what it is. I give him the facts, and then he keeps bringing up things like, you're an emotional arguer. Like that's how most.
Now we're going to get marriage into
That's how most women are. They don't argue based upon logic. They base upon emotion. I tell my mom that all the time. I go, I can give you the facts, and you can sit there and tell me why they're not true, but I can give you the facts that are true.
I'm an emotional arguer?
Yes. You keep bringing up things that like, well, what about this? I just told you they're in school more time than we were. Someone actually co-signed that. My parents were both teachers. They would tell you the same thing. So you can sit here and like pretend that those aren't real facts, but they are.
Kirk Cousins signed with the Raiders, Bob.
That is factually accurate.
That's where we go to, Bob. He signed
a big 5-year deal. It's functionally a 1-year deal.
5 years, 172, some ridiculous number.
But it's functionally a 1-year deal.
I know. But now he has made more, or will make more, than Tom Brady made.
God bless America.
Anything's possible.
So he will be the starter week 1. They'll draft Mendoza. He will sit for a while. I think so.
Okay, so you're saying that as if that's a statement of fact. He will be the starter week 1. They'll draft Mendoza. I don't know that that's true.
Okay, the fact they signed him to that deal, Bob, and like you said, essentially a 1-year deal.
Let me tell you a little story about something, okay? There was a team that signed a backup quarterback, which is what Kirk Cousins was last year, to a deal that was larger relative than that.
Okay.
They drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round. That guy ended up starting.
Russell Wilson. I know you're going there. Yeah.
So
Matt,
not Mr. He wasn't Mr. Unlimited yet.
Was Matt Flynn the one we're talking about? Then?
Matt Flynn.
Okay.
Here's your go-to, Russell.
Who do you use for inspiration? Oh, Pete, sorry.
Okay. Bob, when I say he's going to start week 1.
You said that as if like
it's fact.
That they had called you, whoever the hell the coach is for the Raiders right
Tom
now.
Called him.
Well, Tommy B.
Who is the coach for the Raiders? Oh, Kubiak.
Kubiak, yes.
That's right.
Okay, Bob, I said that as a fact. You're right. Do you believe
they signed him because you would think that he is going to be the bridge to start, assuming that Mendoza isn't ready? They don't want to put him in a bad situation, and that way you have a veteran there that can. And Kirk's a great guy to help like mold and shepherd, potentially groom him to be the future starter.
Yes, that is possible.
I gave you like this. This wasn't like a hand point.
I went over here, Bob. I went T-Rex on you. I went Ruben Bain.
It's like
not Ruben Bain.
finger pistols.
Yes.
I can handle that.
Okay.
That's okay.
Right here. Was it?
Ruben Bain. Yeah, he's got
short arms guy? Yeah. The T-Rex, the Schlegs. That's what I did there, Bob. Okay.
How about what's our little buddy's name?
What?
The guy without the arm.
Yeah, Dayton Weber.
Dayton Weber.
Ohio's own. Maybe.
Wait,
I don't know.
Is he from Ohio?
I don't know.
Dayton, I mean.
What is this? 4 Christmases? His
I'm not
name's
say this,
Orlando.
Houston Carpenter. It's Dayton Weber, baby. 2 Bs?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I think you trust 2 Bs more than 1 B. Just like the Jeff and the GEO Jeff. I think there's different ones. I think if you have 2 Bs,
fair.
I think it's Dayton Weber. Is he from Ohio? Is he from Dayton? There's more than one Dayton, though, in the United States, right?
I don't know.
Probably.
I think there's a Dayton, Texas.
Probably. I'm guessing there's another town in one of our 50 states named Dayton.
I think there might be a Dayton, California, Bob.
Is there a Brooklyn in California?
There's a Danny, California. I know that.
Are you saying Dayton or Peyton? Peyton or Peyton? Dayton? Yeah, Dayton. Okay.
So they just signed Kirk Cousins, gave him a boatload of cash. That's probably the dream, but there's a chance where Mendoza comes in and is so good and is so mature that you want to just let him ride from day one. And I don't know if that's the wrong answer. Every quarterback is different. Every situation is different. And so to just say you can throw like a scenario out there that's going to fit for everybody, I don't think that's accurate.
Okay, but we both can assume, though, their goal would be, I would think.
My teacher used to break that down for me. They'd take it and they'd draw 2 lines between assume and show what it does.
Did you have to take classes taught by your parents when you were growing up through
my dad,
school at Lancaster, right?
My mom didn't start teaching again at Lancaster until I was already gone. She taught at Logan when I was in high school with Katie Smith's mom.
That's humble brag.
Oh, it's a humble brag. Katie Smith's mom, super nice lady. She taught, I think, home ec. But
class is a joke. No offense.
I know. Look at him over there.
My dad taught my weight training class. I think my junior.
You had a weight training class?
You could take it in lieu of gym.
Okay.
It's like if you were an athlete, you could take that.
Yeah, we had that. Strength training.
Yeah, you have strength training. I mean, frankly, we need a little more of that in the schools, to tell you the
Sounds
truth.
like Tito needed it.
Need to start. Okay, now it's getting personal. And by the way, yes, but if you went to school more,
we did
then you
we had strength training, and I think my dad was my teacher for that. Maybe my junior and senior year. I know one of the years.
What was that like?
He never talked to me.
Okay, so you didn't get preferential treatment, obviously.
I was the strongest kid in the class. I mean, if that's not worth an A, I don't know what is.
Did you get an A?
I'm sure I did.
Okay,
I would hope so.
I got a D in gym one year.
It
wasn't until high school.
So I used to always get in arguments with my elementary gym teacher because in elementary school we would only get you would get an S plus, S, like satisfactory plus, satisfactory minus, or U, which is terrible.
You always leave me smiling and satisfied, Bob.
Let's hope so.
You think you can do it?
And I got an S plus 1 year in elementary school PE. And she used to always argue, and the thing is, I played a lot of different sports growing up, and I would always knew the rules of all these different things. And she was always like, well, you're not, a team player with it. There was always all these other reasons. And I remember she would give her daughter, who was in our class, in my grade, she would give her S pluses. And she was a terrible athlete. Awful.
And she got S pluses.
And I used to have to listen to my gym teacher talk all the time about back in her day how she could do this and that. And she was not in exactly peak physical condition.
Okay.
And I just sat there. And the older I've gotten, I let it go eventually. But I look back on it now. And I'm like, I don't understand how that's even real. I'm like, I was not a bad kid. I mean, there was levels of insubordination at different points in my life. But dude, let's go play some gym stuff. Let's go do whatever. And, I'm fine. Gym class, what elementary boy gym isn't their favorite class?
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
did you climb a rope?
We would do the presidential fitness test. Okay. I still got my patches. My mom brought them back. I told my kids, I go, I know I can do this. I got this patch, and here's what it said you had to be able to achieve. And Mrs. Lewis was not letting me cheat or slack on anything.
Well, now we're going to bring names into it. Did you have to climb a rope, though? Did you have to actually
We didn't do the rope
thing? Did you do a rope thing, Bodie, or not?
They had that out, I think, probably
I never had to do a rope.
By 1990, I think. They had ropes in the school, but I never saw anyone climb one. By the way, you want to talk about the danger of that? They put that little 1-inch mat down below, and you're climbing it to the top of the gym. The climbing isn't the problem; it's the falling at the end is what would be the issue.
Listen, Bob, I did fall asleep shortly into the 6th episode because I was pretty tired. But Jon Snow and his little gang started climbing that wall last night.
Oh yeah,
I got to be honest. I'm not a heights person. Just not a fan. Just going to be honest.
Don't like
really
falling.
Yeah,
I'm not a fall guy.
And when they started climbing up that sucker, I was like, ooh, that's a long way to the top, boys.
You need to look up. There's an actual kind of wall like that is somewhere in the world. I think it's over in Russia a lot, somewhere like that.
Right.
There's a giant ice wall that's crazy. But yeah, we didn't in gym class. I mean, we had the rope in there, but that was kind of done. That was like paddling. I was kind of right on the cusp of when that had all stopped.
I think that my parents, if they were more litigious, I could have made some money based on
Oh, my gosh. Is that our goal, to sue people and get money?
No, I'm not saying, Bob, I didn't say it was my goal. I just said if they were.
Nobody thought like that back then, which was good.
In 3rd grade, maybe 4th grade, Che Thomas. And I love that. The school I went to back then, you call teachers by their first name.
What?
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever
Che.
heard in my life.
Exactly.
It wasn't Mr. Thomas, it was Che. It wasn't
Michael Che?
It wasn't Mr. Stassforth. We called him Stass. And Mrs. Stass.
Like our coaches, you may call coach and then their nickname if they were a coach and a teacher. I can't think of any teachers I had that you would call by their first name. You know what? That would get you a trip to the principal's office.
We did this
They may give you one big, excuse me? And then if you double down on it, go take a walk.
Che was big on
Get on that goal line.
Gymnastics in gym class. We used to do something. We would run.
Yeah.
You would kind of jump, and he would have his feet, and he would pick you up and flip you.
Is this kind of like dirty dancing? Is this what?
Listen, no, it wasn't like that.
Catch you?
Like you come up and he would sit there and he'd flick you up
would
in the
they
air.
blend it with music class? People would be singing "Time of Your Life" in the back.
This was pre-square dance. Anyway, and I remember I hit my knee on my head, my forehead.
Sounds like you injured
yourself. For a while. No, and so I had a huge knot on my head. I looked.
How'd you burn your foot?
That's what happened to me. And I think that I had to go to the nurse. I had to put ice on. It was the biggest knot I've ever had in my life.
My knee hit my head.
That hasn't happened for a while, by the way.
That's good.
Right, I know. Well, it's not good.
Do you think you're flexible enough for your knee to even hit your head?
That's what I'm
now?
saying. Back then, yes. In the Wayback Machine, Bob, I did. And I remember how badly Che felt about that. And he apologized.
I can't handle you calling your teacher by the first name.
C-H-E, Mr. Thomas, Che. Anyway, though, but he felt very badly about it.
This says a lot that you called your teachers by their first name.
It was Stas, it was Embry, it was Che.
Now, this is part of the problem with you, like in America.
Wait, you just put a mint in your mouth. You sound like Lou Holtz there for all 2 seconds. But go ahead.
Part of the problem with America.
Listen,
calling your teachers by their first names. You think I let my players call me Lou? Coach Holtz, sir. We use words like honor, code, and loyalty.
I never thought about it being weird, Bob. It's just the way it was.
I went up with Bill Parcells when he was when I get drafted to Dallas. You have to bring him water.
Okay.
I'll never forget. That's what his first pick had to do. We'd have water break, and you'd have to bring him. I'd go to the trainer, and he would have a little Gatorade cup of water, and he would be in the middle of the field. I have to run over there, give him the water, stand there, wait, and he'd give me the cup back, and I'd go throw it in the trash. And I remember it was great because we were coming back from St. Thomas this year, and we're going through customs. And the customs agent asked my daughter, like, is this you? Like, who are these people to you? Making sure we're not, like, trafficking children. But he's like, is this you? Is this McLean? Yeah. He's like, yes, for your people. Yes is for me. Sir, preferably. I was like, thank you, buddy. Give me a rock.
Thank you, Che.
Thank you, sir. And so they leave. And so one of my coaches, I remember in 8th grade, my dad got the job at the end of my 8th grade year. A guy named David Cape, who was from the South, who had coached with my dad at New Lakes before, and he promised my dad if he ever got the New Lakes job, he'd come back and help him coach. He just got off coaching Tequio Spikes, and they won a state championship down there. They won their state championship by like 35 points. They had like 3 future NFLers on there.
Yeah,
he's coming to coach
helps.
our team, which was terrible when my dad took over. And I remember saying, yeah, he's like, it's yes, sir. And he's like, yes, sir. He had like a thick Southern accent. I mean, it was great. And it was yes, sir. And so he like leaned into that. And then one of our other coaches, Coach Albertini, was an Army Ranger. And so it was like, sir. It was always yes, sir. And so I'm going to give Parcells water. And I'd always say, yes, sir. And he's like, I'm not a sir. This isn't the military. He's like, you can call me Parcells. You can call me Coach. Hell, you can call me Bill. I'm like, yes,
sir.
I'm like, all right, Coach. But I could never call him Bill. Now I would. And as I got older, but like coming out of college, I would never have called any of my coaches by their first name. And that just wasn't it. Like, I mean, Fick, maybe like you'd have a nickname for him, but it was like Coach Fick.
Okay.
And it wasn't like, hey, Luke. Like what I could never imagine. It would at least be
Jim, how you doing?
So his name was Stassforth. I called him Stat. We called him Stas.
That's okay.
I guess that's okay.
But calling Che by their first Che or whatever the heck by his Michael Che by his first name.
It was kind of like you're right. That was the first. Michael Che is the second Che I've ever met. This guy was Che Thomas, who came in. You mentioned the airport thing.
Michael Che Thomas. Before and after.
And I'm not going hangover when I say this.
But I think that might be part of the problem.
Wait,
some of my kids, parents, and I told them they wanted to call them by their first names, like Mr. Such and Such or Miss. That's my mom or dad. And I'm like, that's fine. I go, you can call them by their first name, but you're going to put Mr. or Mrs. in front of it.
Okay, yeah, I do.
And
that
I don't
also.
care if they tell you not to. You're going to continue to do that. And then when you're 18 and you graduate high school, then you can call them by their first name if that's what they want.
For me, Bob, you mentioned the airport thing. And ever since the events of the last 25 years now, it's not as easy, but I used to be hysterical in airports. Like they would say, sir, are you able to comply?
Your bomb, your bomb, thanks a lot.
Bob, hang over, yes.
His bomb jokes don't really land the way they used to.
Anyway, no, Bob, but like I remember being there and they're like, okay, you're going to sit in the exit row. Are you able to physically comply with all the necessary things.
Slap his gut. I don't know.
That's
what do you
I
think?
say, look at me. You want to punch me as hard as you can? Go ahead and punch me. You tell me if I can do it. I would do things like that.
How heavy is that door?
Doesn't land as well anymore, Bob. You can't make airport jokes anymore. But the two places I've been the funniest of my life are airports and
right here.
Well, this is third.
Men's bathrooms.
And delivery rooms.
Rest stops.
Delivery rooms, Bob. I'm telling you right now, when the wife was giving birth and I'm asking nurses about ordering pizza and pay-per-view fights, when I tell her, hey, natural childbirth, everybody, she doesn't need any drugs, that kind of stuff right there, it used to land so well. I want to get another person pregnant just for the jokes.
Another person or another woman?
Okay, fair enough. Coming up next, because we're going to do Ask Bob in the final segment, we normally Ask AJ. Coming up next, we'll tell you what's got us juiced. Morning Juice.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together,
established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
What does it mean to give 100%? It means giving everything you've got, every single day. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. So no matter what you give, we give 100% for life-saving research victories, 100% to making new discoveries that lead to innovative treatments, 100% to groundbreaking cancer research that could one day save someone you love. We know cancer research is working. Over the last 30 years, an estimated 4.5 million lives have been saved thanks to game-changing research breakthroughs. But there is more work to do. That's why the V Foundation gives 100% of every dollar donated directly to cancer research. We will always give 100% to accelerate victory over cancer.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate today at v.org.
Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
Morning Juice. I don't know if Magacom Bob is the old.
It's not. There's an R in there. It's corn. It's not an M.
There you go.
It's CORN.
Oh, you get
not the R. I know that the R looks like it blends into the end to make
it
an
looks
M.
like an M. MAGA Corn Bob.
I don't know that matters or not, but
it might not. But I don't know if it's your alter ego or not. But said
I have my own burner for our chat.
Okay. Is it Steve Kerr 1515?
That's exactly
Shamrock. He says, speaking of pregnancy, when are you due, Tito? That seems personal.
That's a great line.
I don't think that's great.
The shirt really accents your
I know, Bob. There are shirts.
Your figure.
This is one of the shirts that I put it on. Yeah, you see it. I know. I look at it.
You just watched it on the screen.
I understand that. I understand. That's why stand also announced it as sit, though, because think how fat I'd look if I sat down, Bob.
Listen, there's ways to solve that problem.
Oh, I know, but I'm not going to do shots, Bob. I don't know if Che Thomas is still with us. And so I told you about our school. You were like, I know, you and Bodie went to traditional. I went to an alternative, artsy kind of school.
Did you have to opt into that? Or how
you had to get a lottery. Yes, you had to get in a lottery. Mom put in a lottery without me knowing. Halfway through my second grade year, I changed schools from my neighborhood school to getting bused downtown.
That sounds terrible.
Bob, it was great.
Yeah, but like none of your friends went to school with you.
You're not many. You're right. There weren't many in the neighborhood. You're right. But
not
Shiloh,
that there was a large list anyway,
that's fine,
but
Bob.
I mean,
anyway,
the
nonetheless,
few that you had.
There were no desks. All there were like round tables and rectangular tables, and it encouraged arts. It encouraged, I was on the square dancing team.
This
Bob.
is why
I told you this.
This is why you don't argue with facts. You argue with emotion.
I don't know if that's fair. I don't think I always argue with emotion. I argue with gut.
Well,
Gut's emotion.
You got a lot of that.
That's fine. Gut and emotion. People think about
I guess
emotion.
You lean
means,
into your strength.
That's
buddy.
fine. I'm telling you right now, gut is different than emotion, Bob.
Okay.
Do you disagree with that, or are you going to argue that one?
I don't
Argue
know.
with your gut is different than arguing with emotion. There's your poll question, buddy. I can't do your job for you. Is arguing with your gut, arguing with your emotion, are they different? Because I think they are, Bob.
Yes.
Right?
Oh.
Anyway. I had a paper football league.
My gosh.
I had to do a newspaper, Bob. I had to watch other people play as part of my school day and report on it. And then had to write a newspaper. And Mrs. Clark, God bless her, she would print them up in the other on the Ditto paper.
What was it?
And I would distribute it
On the Ditto paper.
Ditto paper. You never had Ditto paper?
The Diddy paper?
No, not Diddy. Ditto paper. You never had Ditto paper when you were in school?
Mrs. Clark. I mean, what's her name? Mary? What is her? Beth?
Her name was. She was. She smoked. She wasn't smoking, but she was smoking. But she would smoke in the teacher's lounge area. But she would print
God
up
bless America. Back when you could smoke in the school.
Exactly.
Can't smoke in here.
Volunteer environment.
Exactly.
Firewoman.
Exactly, Bob. It was a big deal. All right, still was guest used.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
It's Friday, but we checked out a long time ago, Bob. What do you got for us?
It's Good Friday. Well, you thought
don't.
You're sitting there telling me the kids should be in school.
I didn't say that, Bob. You're misquoting me. You're misquoting what my thought was on that one. I'm saying they already had spring break. Why are they off today? That was my question to you.
And I told you because it's Good Friday.
I understand that.
You said it seems kind of weak.
Yeah. I don't even know if there was a kinda.
No, it did. It seems weak. Yes. Then change this calendar so you're off Good Friday as part of spring break.
Why? I don't want to be off before Easter. I enjoy my spring break not being part of Easter. That's one of the great things that I really enjoy. By the way, Ohio State isn't off today either, which was kind of crazy.
Because they're doing it right, Bob.
They're doing it right.
I don't know that I remember having Good Friday off growing up.
Right.
Maybe we did, I honestly.
It was probably attached to spring break. And
Maybe
that's
it
why.
was. I don't remember. I'm not saying we definitely did or didn't. But
Dayton, Minnesota, according to Steve Kerr.
What's got me juiced today? Well, we got the Final Four this weekend. We got Easter weekend coming up. That's always exciting. My niece's birthday party is tomorrow, so I'm excited to go down and see her, talk to my brother, get some things going with that. It was when I realized the kids didn't have school today, I was actually kind of relieved because my son was at the community center last night. I'm like, what are you doing? You need to get your butt home. He's like, why? I want to stay at my friend's house. And I'm like, oh, that's right. You don't have school. So like, it's 8:00, dude. It's time to get home. We got to get to bed. And so not having school was great. My daughter has a lacrosse game tomorrow. So excited to be able to watch that. One of my boys just one of them has a lacrosse game. So get a chance to watch his first lacrosse game ever. So that'll be fun. And then the Final Four is going to be this weekend. And I think it's gearing up to be pretty good. It looks like those games should both be bangers. And I'm hoping I would like to see the Big Ten win a national championship. I would not like to see Michigan win one.
Yeah.
So that basically leaves Illinois. That's where we're pinning our hopes. So hopefully they can beat Arizona, and then if they get through that, an all Big Ten final would be great, and it would be awesome.
UConn on that one.
UConn plays Illinois.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, wrong. I confused that. But if you could have Michigan and Illinois. I would love for them to be brought all the way to the altar and then get left there. Like, if you're going to do it and they've made it this far, let them lose in the championship.
Dusty.
There you go. And let them lose in the championship, because that's going to really stink and it'll be incredibly painful. That's got me juiced today. And finding out more about you,
Bob, if you want to spend a weekend together, man, we can do that.
Well, I just enjoy asking these questions and learning more and more. And as I learn more about your history, the whole picture is now kind of coming into frame of why you are Jeff, self-proclaimed
the way that you are.
Tito Thitoff. Yes, I didn't want to go full Toby Flenderson, although last night was some of the last Office episodes, and I did watch Toby go meet the Scranton Strangler.
Oh.
Didn't end up well for him. What has Schleich's got to say, Bodes?
When you're down here, like, there's a lot of Carhartt pants still on the shelf. You know, in Columbus, Ohio, like, you get to wear it all, man. You get to wear the boots. You get to wear the Carhartt pants. You get to wear the Carhartt long sleeves with the Carhartt sweatshirts and possibly a Carhartt jacket that's 12 degrees outside with a Carhartt beanie. Like, that's fantastic.
A Carhartt.
How rough
I
was that voice?
I think that's the most I've ever heard.
You should
somebody
hear
say
his
the word.
voice now.
It's that bad,
I
yeah?
can only imagine.
Oh,
yeah.
It sounds like he's been eating cat litter.
That's a good one, Bob.
That sounds like a fun hobby. All right, guys, got a few things for you. Friday, best day of the work week, of course. That has me juiced. Also, I'm with you, Bob. Excited to watch the Final Four games. I don't really care too much who wins as long as it's not Michigan. But I will say, I honestly kind of didn't even realize this. I just checked it yesterday. I'm in the 93rd percentile on ESPN.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
And
That's awesome.
But I have Arizona beating UConn in the title game. So
you're rooting against
total opposite of the Big Ten. So selfishly, I kind of would like to see that happen, because I feel like if the Wildcats were to,
you could finish like top 95%. That'd be awesome.
That's what I was thinking when I saw that. I was like, man, apparently I'm a college basketball genius.
You are.
So that had me juiced up this morning. Also, speaking of birthdays over the weekend, a very, very happy birthday. 31, Reggie Miller. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Reggie Miller birthday to my sister Maddie, turning big 31 yesterday. So, or yesterday, tomorrow I should say. So hope she has a good day Saturday.
You watching sprinkles for her?
No, they are going out of town, I think, middle of May. So I got a nice 6-week ramp up until that happens. But big happy birthday to my beloved sister, who I also despise, given the day. But happy birthday to Maddie on that one. And Mr. Thitoff, what has you juiced, sir?
Okay, you mentioned that about your bracket. My son's bracket, he's in like the top 99.7%.
Good for him.
Yes, he is up there in that. Now, great, he filled out 4 of them.
Which is sort of cheating.
It is kind of cheating.
I only did 1.
I did 1, and he's beating me in that one, obviously. And he likes to take pride in that, even though I'm beating his other 3. I think he's got UConn winning it in his, though.
Okay.
He did that. He did a women's bracket, and then he also did like the second chance bracket they do, which is also cheating on ESPN. Where like when they get to the Sweet 16.
How do we engage people that were so bad in the first weekend?
But my son, though, is puffing his chest out with me on that one. What else has me juiced? Let's see. This weekend, Artie's got his first basketball tournament of the spring season, I guess. We'll see how that one goes. I can't tell how good his team is, Bob.
They have a basketball tournament this weekend?
Yeah.
Do they play on Sunday?
Okay, that was the parenting question. That's AJ. Now I'm going to ask you. I'm so glad you did that, Bob. Could you ask Bob in the next segment? But if your child had a sporting event, a tournament, game, because my wife and I had this fight. Fight's the wrong word. And I fought with my gut, not my emotions, Bob. If there were games on Easter Sunday, how would you approach that as a parent? Would you say my kid's not playing? Or would you say he committed to the team?
Why don't you ask Jaden Ivey?
Okay, that's a good question. You can say committed to the team or committed to Christ. Which one do you want to do there, Bob? Okay, so would you let your team play? You let your kid play if he had an athletic event, and maybe he does this weekend. So I'm going to challenge you right now publicly on a Sunday. Does he play?
So I'm a big believer if you commit to the team, you play in it.
Okay.
Upon joining the team, when I asked when the tournaments would be, and there was one on Easter weekend, I'd be like, we ain't doing that, coach.
Okay.
I would have gave him full heads up at that point. At this point, it's a little tight to say that you can't play. So I don't know how you handle that.
Okay.
But that required some forward looking.
No, don't see now, Bob. Nope. You're now listen, before you get there, wife and I argued about it before she realized, and before I realized, and this was a couple weeks ago, that they say there's no games on Easter.
Okay.
They're playing Friday and Saturday. But we argued about it beforehand, though. I was like, well, no, he committed the team. This is a few weeks in advance. I said, he said he's playing, and
I couldn't imagine that they would have a tournament, but people are crazy now.
They are. No doubt about it, yes. But that's my point, though, is that that's where I wanted the parenting advice from you and AJ. And Bodie's laughing at this.
I think AJ would probably be with me and like, dude, you commit to the team, you're playing on it. But if you look ahead and you're like, it's a game on Easter, or hey, there's something that's like a big thing for our family.
Right.
I remember we had a basketball and I had my confirmation for church, and pool play on Saturday, bracket play on Sunday,
right.
And we were like the number 1 seed, and it was in Zanesville. I think we ended up winning the tournament, but they told them like, hey, this is confirmation. This is what it is. Like you're going to be with the church. You were doing this, and you can go afterwards. And so I missed the first, like if we win.
Right.
I don't know how they called from a payphone or something. And they called, like my dad and I remember we drove over, and I played the rest couple games after that, but I was not going to be a part of that because that was something that she told him early on, like, this is what's happening. So if you have a game before noon on Sunday, like we're not going to be at that.
So Bodie, this is a big forward thinking on my part asking the question, Bodie, but how would you address that?
Oh, God. I would say I'd echo Carp's thoughts. I didn't even know that was I feel like Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, probably kind of the...
Thanksgiving's different.
This isn't professional sports.
Yes,
what are you talking about? Who has a tournament on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Okay, wait,
Bob, Cowboys?
Yeah.
Now, wait. If your kid had a tournament game on Thanksgiving, I think you would still let them play. It's not a religious holiday.
I wasn't saying religious versus not. I was just saying, like, those are the 3 days off that, like, I feel like everybody's... I mean, I'm not, like, crying us a river here. We're not working in a coal mine, but, like, we pretty much work all holidays, like, sort of not by choice for the most part. And that's okay. It's not like the end of the world. But even we don't work on Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like
I would.
I know that you would.
We know Thitoff.
Okay, I'm saying I would work Thanksgiving. I think we should do a show on Thanksgiving, Bob.
Well, go for it. I'm not going to be here.
That's fine.
I've worked on Thanksgiving before when done stuff at ESPN and everything.
On the field.
And I guess I was part of it. I was like, well,
you did work on Thanksgiving.
I did for a long time.
Yes.
But that was different. Like
how's that different?
A family of like people came and it was around, and also I'm getting. It was part of the show. Like you went from like you would eat and then watch football. Well, I mean, I guess if you're a turkey, you're working on Thanksgiving.
Fair point.
So I guess like as a player, like okay, well I'm working on Thanksgiving now. Like that's just what it's going to be, and it was okay. Like. No problem with that. It was a different Thanksgiving than what we would normally have, and so like the logistics around it, and we'd have our neighbor come over and start the oven and put like the turkey in for us. We had great neighbors, cook a lot before. So then when you would come back, it was easier in Detroit when we played at noon. Dallas was tougher.
I bet because
it's 2:30. You're getting done with the game because it's Central Time, so you're getting done about 5:30. By the time you get home, it's like 6:30. I think our goal was to eat by like 7:50.
What time do you have to show up on game day for the Cowboys?
You're staying in the hotel.
Okay. I'm saying
you're never going home.
What time do you have to be in the stadiums all basketball?
Yeah, the league rule is you have to be in the stadium 2 hours before.
Okay, all
right. That is a league rule for players.
Some
teams are a little more, depending on how good you are. That might be a slide. Terry Glenn used to walk in like. I think about an hour before the game.
Legend.
He'd just walk in, change, they tape him, and he'd walk out and start playing.
Let's go, boys.
I'm like, dude, the traffic you're probably sitting out, because the earlier you get there, the less traffic there is too.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit of like, hey, on home games, you drive your car a lot of times there, and it's like, do I really want to be sitting out here? Like, and you can get to a point where you can get away from the traffic and they funnel you in, but you still got to get to that point. Like, everybody's still trying to get to the same stadium.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, there was always some good and bad with that.
Yeah, maybe talk about that. How it was a fractured holiday for you that day because of that. Because of the fact when you got home.
Okay, but my parents, everybody would come in for it. Like my brothers would be there. My parents would come and they'd stay that whole week. And my brothers would too. When I was growing, like when they were in school, before they were playing, but they would come and stay that whole week. And so that was always nice.
Thanksgiving too, Bob. Okay. Our kids get off the day before Thanksgiving.
I never got off that.
Neither did I. That's exactly what I'm saying. I had Wednesday and came back on Monday. Our kids get off Wednesday.
Okay.
But I also was off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
But I acknowledge the fact that just because of that, there are other hours that they're making that up.
7th grade, 6th and 7th grade, Bob, I went to Franklin Alternative Middle School.
When you keep saying alternative, like that was when the kids in Lancaster, when you like tried to fight a teacher, or you like were getting back from juvie. Like there was a reason you couldn't be in the main school. You went to the alternative school. I remember the teachers at the alternative school were usually like a lot of coaches, some dudes that might have to throw hands if they needed to.
We had a kid that was a year ahead of me. He was in my sister's grade. No, his name was, I think it was Brett or Brent. I'm pretty sure it was Brett. Okay. And he would run down the hall and make dinosaur noises. And one time, I know during class, one time the teacher stepped out for a moment and he crawled out the window and just walked out. He didn't go to our high school.
Okay.
That was kind of some of his last days in the middle school. So.
Yeah. Have you heard of Columbus Alternative High School?
Which was probably an alternative school. No, I've never heard of.
Have you heard of COS? Columbus Alternative High School. You've heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's just an artsy school. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not bad kids. It's usually creative kids.
Is that like a South Harmon Institute of Technology sort of deal?
Yes. I'm just saying though, Bob. It wasn't that way. But I had to get bussed. It was down on Bryden Avenue.
Sounds terrible.
Okay, I got suspended from school.
Tito?
That's fine, Bodie. I'm not going to do this deal. I got suspended. Do you want to guess why I got suspended for 2 weeks as a 7th grader?
Smoking cigs.
Not smoking cigs, Bob.
I would guess just general acting out.
There we go. We were gambling on the bus.
Oh, there you go. Well,
there were
2 weeks suspension for gambling on the bus?
Well, it was our second infraction, but yeah.
What was the first?
Gambling. But I'm saying,
what was the first penalty?
Suspended 3 days.
And you went back to the well?
Well, you got to pay the bill somehow, Bob. You never flip coins as a kid?
Yeah.
Odds and evens, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we did that, but with dollars, and then we also bet on sports and things like that.
Shooting dice in the bag?
We never shot dice, Bob. We weren't ingrates. We did legitimate sports betting. We'd look at the lines in the Columbus Dispatch, and we would place bets. Hey,
it's remarkable.
You learn how hungry you are when you lose your lunch money because you took the Browns getting 6 against the Steelers over the weekend as a 7th grader, Bob. It's a tough lesson. Can't get your honey bun. You got to find a way to survive and advance on that one. But yeah, alternative middle school, alternative high school. I had to go to Clinton my 8th grade year because Franklin, they did not kick me out, Bob.
They just didn't ask you back.
They said they strongly recommended I find a different school to go to for my 8th grade year. And that's how I went to the neighborhood school for my 8th grade year, and then Brookhaven after that. So all roses and sunshine after that, Bob. Coming next, folks, we'll hop in the chat. Ask Bob. We'll do that next. Also, witty banter. Morning juice.
Hey, folks, Austin Ward here. There was a time if you handed me a bread basket at dinner, it was like feeding a gator. You might lose a finger. Bread, pasta, pizza, man, carbs were undefeated in my life. That is, until Awaken 180 weight loss came in and flipped the script. Look, I've run the gauntlet of diets, and each time, carbs won by knockout. But Awaken 180 isn't a diet. It's a whole new playbook for changed-up lifestyle. We all know it's necessary to lose that weight, but this is to keep it off. That constant carb craving, the one we all shrug off as normal, gone. Sure, I still love my pizza. But here's the difference. Now I don't need it. So now, most times when that waiter hustles over with a basket of temptation, I just grin, give a little nod, and wave it away like I'm passing on a 4th and long. Because I'm in control now. Awaken 180 isn't just a game changer, it's a life changer. Trust me. Call them at 844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com. Your future self will thank you.
There is nothing more meaningful you can do for yourself, your family, and friends than finally getting rid of that pain so they can enjoy that time with you again, especially heading into vacation season. Here, let me help you. It's Bobby Carpenter, and Dr. Tesner and his team at QC Kinetics take care of your pain in the office so you can go right along with your day. It's that easy. So if you say yes to any of these questions, you're the kind of patient QC Kinetics regenerative treatments can help every day. I have consistent pain in my joint, knees, hips, shoulder, back. Pain keeps me from getting a good night's sleep. I'm missing work or saying no to things that I love. I don't want surgery or a long-term recovery. I am at the end of my rope, and taking medications every day is just going to get me through the day. I don't want to do it anymore. So if you want to do that, go check out your free consultation over with my friends at QC Kinetics in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. They have offices in Dublin and in Gahanna.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Bobby is the all-American male. Tito pulled a hammy getting his mail. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice, final segment of the program, final segment of the week. Bobby and Bodie, we just found out. I've got a personal email from Fish. Have either of you checked the email or the messages? Somebody said about the school I went to. Did either of you check that yet?
I have not.
I did.
You did? Is it?
It says you went to RISD.
Okay. That's fine.
Oh, that's great. That's so
now you
good.
see it. There's
That's
something.
great.
Okay, I don't know
Yes.
what it is. But.
Well done on that, Fish. Good job out of you. That's good.
We know he's listening. Yeah, Pop. Alternative school, the square dancing thing I did when I would travel around.
It's like RISD. I mean,
okay, it's RISD. That's fine. It was an artsy school.
Yeah, that's okay.
Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Soft mattress. It could have been that.
Could have been that, right.
Or the Midnight Assault.
Exactly. It could be either one of those.
You nude art show in my room last night at midnight.
Could have been that. Yeah, I don't know. He's not here, so we've got to improvise.
If you come to a fork in the road, ask AJ, he'll help you know. Helmet shining, number 47 bold, he'll point you right where you should go. Just ask Carp,
ask Carp, ask Carp. Carp. Question in the chat. Top 5 favorite Buckeyes, and who's your favorite Buckeye linebacker? Go defend people, bud. Doesn't matter. Go ahead.
It's tough.
Marcus Freeman.
Here we go.
Marcus Freeman.
Of course you're going to say Marcus Freeman.
Oh, my gosh. It's tough. I would have to eliminate any contemporaries that I played with because it's weird, and almost guys that came after me because it's like you look at people a little differently when you are growing up and watching them. They're always better than that because they seem more like aspirational in life. Like I saw Andy Katzenmoyer was kind of the guy for me,
right?
And maybe that's because I was in like 5th, 6th, 7th grade.
And you wore neck rolls
when he was coming through. But he was just the coolest dude. Like, he was a Westerville guy. They opened up 45 for him. And he was so good. Started as a true freshman and just lit the world on fire. And I've told Andy that before. And then getting a chance to, like, meet him and then hear about his physical exploits. Crazy. Like, the things that he could do. And I know Sonny Styles, like, lit the world on fire with his pro day and everything. But I'm like, Andy did a lot of stuff similar to that, but weighed like 260 pounds.
Right.
Like he was at practice yesterday. And I mean, he's so, like his leg, he's just so stinking big and like strong. And I don't even think he works out that much at all anymore. He was just a mutant.
5 generations of family breeding.
It really is 5 generations. But Andy came in, it was my senior year. So he was probably around 30. And he hadn't worked out at all. He was like trying to get his degree, finish up. And he literally hadn't worked out, he said, in 3 months. And we were benching, we had 315 on. And he was like, I bet I could do that. And like gets underneath there and does it like 14 times. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then the guys are arguing about dunking this and that. And then he's like, I can dunk pretty good. And I'm like, all right, whatever.
I love your Katzenmoyer voice.
Because it was so funny. Back then, he was just so like factual, and guys would look at him, and none of the guys had seen him really work out. I'd been far enough that nobody had played with him anymore by the time I was a senior. And we had beams that probably came down in our old weight room that I'm guessing were about, I don't know, close to 11 feet off the ground. And Andy's like, I can touch that. 2 feet, no step. And I'm like, all right, like a straight vertical. And like it's different going one hand versus two.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was a rocket ship flying off the ground. And watching some of the dudes look at that, they're like, you got to be kidding me. because we knew like he was a little heavier. He probably weighed 275, 280. Like it wasn't even real. And he'd come out and we at the end of our runs, we'd do what was called competitive 10s, where we would everybody would line up and it was like whistle go and the coach would stand there and they'd call out the winner. Okay. And usually it's DBs and wideout. I mean, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'd break it up with like linemen, but we had some fast linebackers and running backs, but Andy was running them with us and Andy would win among everybody. And I told people, like, we had like Santonio home, and there's like Drew Carter ran like a 4.33, 340. I mean, they were fast dudes, and Andy would beat everybody in the competitive 10.
And some of that training stuff too, and this isn't to take anything away from guys today like Sonny Styles, but what we know about that stuff today,
much greater.
Just the sleep, nutrition, like you can get things down to such an even just the cleats that you wear. Like, back when Katz was playing, it was just like
so. Like Katz was number one. I played with Niall Diggs in the NFL. I loved it because they played together.
Niall's Green Bay, right? Where he played most of his time.
Yeah, but he was in
right
Carolina.
Okay.
Most of his time, played against him a lot. And I remember talking to him. I played against him, and then he finished up in St. Louis. And so when I was there briefly, I got a chance to get to know him a little bit, and it was awesome. And so I loved him. I mean, those were kind of the two dudes that were it. And it's been awesome to get a chance to know Tom Cousineau, who is a monster. Who's
He's
more
still
like
in Ohio? Is he up in Cleveland still?
They're moving back. He loves Ohio. His wife wanted to retire and move to Florida, and Coos is like, I hate it down there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to move back to Cleveland? You're the guy. You're the one. You're the guy.
I want to go there.
So I was like, I want to retire and just whatever, move to Florida. He's like,
go colder.
It was just boring down there. There's nothing to do. I'm like, God bless you. But Coos, no, not in Coos. But like Coos's hands are so big, and I always have the young guys on the boat meet him on the Buckeye cruise, because Coos now, I mean, he's probably 6'3", he probably lost a half inch, an inch, whatever, and he probably weighs about, I don't know, 210. Like, he's not a big dude anymore. Looks like a very normal guy. And you shake his hand, and I was like, go shake his hand. And the guy's like Raekwon was like, my gosh, dude. And I'm
you
like,
touched my elbow.
Yeah, it's like, but it's not even just the length of his finger. Like his hand it's like a gorilla hand. It's so meaty and like big, and his arms, like you watch him walk, his arms are so long. I was like, that's why that dude was the number one overall pick in the draft, because of that. Like, slap 40 pounds on him and cut 20 years off, and like then you're looking at a dude that's an unreal athlete. So awesome to those. So that's not really the full answer, but that's kind of how.
I remember with Coos, it went from Cousineau, and then you had Marcus Merrick.
Yeah, who's the all-time leading tackler in Ohio State history.
Right, and then you had Spielman after that, I believe, and Pepper Johnson that era.
Yeah, well, Pepper was before Spiels.
Okay, Pepper's before Spiels.
Because Bruce always told the story about Spiels stomping around to get in the game. Put me in. He's like, put in Spiels. He's like, finally, get him in there. And Bob Tucker's put him in. And Bob Tucker was the DC, and Pep comes running off, and Bruce goes, why the hell did you take out him? He's like, get Pepper back in there. Take out somebody else.
Those were the days, Bob, when linebackers would have, like, you would see games where Pepper Johnson spills like 27 tackles in a game.
And so AJ always would say that, because I think AJ's had him and Shazier were like the most since those guys in a while. AJ had like 20 against Wisconsin. Shazier, I think, had something like that against Iowa. Because you have to play against teams that just run the ball.
Just run the ball,
play.
yeah. In a lot of plays.
Now, like, safeties are almost the leading tacklers. Yeah. But the game is so much wider than it used to be because of how spread it is, that it's really tough for just your middle linebacker to gobble up like 170 tackles in a season.
I never thought about it. By the way, the question was from Emily. Thank you, Emily, longtime chatter, Chat Hall of Famer. But
that's the best.
I never thought about this until just now, Bob, which is always great from the gut.
A lot of thoughts in there.
Did you feel a lot of pressure being a linebacker at Ohio State based on the legacy, going back to guys like Cousineau and Marcus Merrick and those guys? I got to believe, Bob, at some point you felt, tell me if I'm wrong, some huge responsibility, like, oh my God, I've got to live up to this.
Okay, so responsibility is different than pressure. Pressure is the echoes of the work that you didn't do, Michael Jordan. Best quote I've ever heard. When people start talking about, do you feel pressure? I was like, I go, you can be stressed, and stress does two things. It can create anxiety or it can create excitement. And one of the great things that Tress would do, we had to read what it means to be a Buckeye, I think my junior year, and the linebackers presented on the linebackers.
Okay.
And so that's where I learned about Marcus Merrick. I mean, you knew about Spielman, but like learning about Marcus Merrick, learning about Kuzno, who's like my dad's, close to my parents' age, but learning about Marcus Merrick and like all these great players, like learning more about Steve Tovar and guys that had come before. And so you learn about these guys, and it's awesome. And other players as well. So I wouldn't say it was pressure, but yeah, Penn State always calls themselves linebacker U, but we took immense pride of like not only being good, but then also training the next guys to be good after us.
Okay.
And like, people talk about, James Laurinaitis and, me breaking my ankle against Michigan. I go, the greatest, my ankle break paved the way for one of the great all-time careers at Ohio State. And James came and he was awesome and did a great job, and those guys kept it rolling. At some point it kind of faded off, but I feel like now with James being back and what they've done, you see like Sonny Narvell having 2 first-round draft picks from the same
10,
that are both linebackers. And by the way, this isn't transfer city. These guys weren't people that came in here from other places. There are 2 guys from the state of Ohio that came to Ohio State and worked their butt off and became real. One guy was pretty highly recruited in Sonny, probably one of the top guys in the country. Arvell was not.
Right.
And so both of those guys are going to be drafted in the first round of the draft this month. And that's really cool. And it's sad because I told when they brought Bryce Weston and Aaron Scott, and I remember telling those guys, I go, man, you have a chance to be, because they're highly recruited dudes and very talented. I go, this is a long way away, but you guys have the chance to be 2 Ohio guys from the same position drafted in the first round in the same year. I go, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do. Like AJ and I were able to do that. Ted and Gonzo were guys that were able to do that. I'd have to look back and see, and I'm sure there's some other guys, other times that it's happened. But 2 guys from the state, from the same position group, it's incredibly rare. And so there was a lot of pride that came with that.
Last question, Bob. Patrick wants to know, Cadbury eggs, yes or no?
I don't. I like a Cadbury egg. Not
Cody,
like the
Cadbury?
love.
I'll pass on it.
How about the better question? Peeps, yes or no?
Oh, Peeps are a no. Peeps are
Hard
a
pass
strong
for me.
no.
I think Peeps are disgusting.
Okay.
The different colors don't change flavors, right?
No,
I don't think
it's
so.
like M&Ms.
Right, it's the same thing. Right, yeah.
I want the orange ones. They taste the same
they're
as
all
the
the
brown
same.
ones.
I don't know, M&M's will be different.
They're the same flavor.
Lucky Charms, marshmallows all taste the same?
I don't know. I haven't
Couldn't
had
tell you
Lucky
last-
Charms
it's
in
been a minute.
20 years.
The fact you looked at my stomach and said I haven't had Lucky Charms in a while, Bob, that right there said a lot.
That's
The way
like a
you
Lucky
look-
Charm.
No, that's not. Honey Nut Cheerios is
I
now
wish
my
I
go-to.
wish I had your stomach was translucent
that's the
and I
problem,
could see
Thitoff,
what
is-
was in there.
That's just a bunch of sugar, too.
Well, whole milk. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for participating today. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. For whatever reason, our kids are off school. I think it's soft. Bob, I will